What's going on, guys? Ray here, Papa Ray's Boom Boom Room, continuing the series of draft recaps and season predictions. Hopefully the season does happen. Moving on to the NFC North, that includes the Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers, and the Minnesota Vikings. That's a very OG division with a lot of classical teams on there. If you guys have not already, before we start, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and follow on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And I really appreciate you guys for watching these videos and supporting. If you guys have any opinions, comments, leave them down below in the comment section. I would really appreciate the feedback. So let's jump straight into it with the Chicago Bears. Last year they finished 8-8, really average. Their needs in the draft were offensive tackle, tight end, defensive end, linebacker, and safety. In the second round, they went and got Cole Kmet, tight end out of Notre Dame, Jalen Johnson, cornerback out of Utah, Travis Gibson, linebacker out of Tulsa, Kendall Vildor, corner out of Georgia Southern, Darnell Mooney, wide receiver out of Tulane, Arlington Hambright, offensive tackle out of Colorado, and Latavius Simmons, guard out of Tennessee State. As many of you guys know, Nick Foles is now in Chicago with the Bears. Gonna give Mitch Trubisky a run for his money. Mitch Trubisky needs to prove himself, because if not, Nick Foles will pop right in just like he did with the Eagles and possibly take over. I haven't really seen the potential that a lot of people were talking about when they drafted Mitch Trubisky. They were also, Deshaun Watson was saying the Bears didn't even consider Deshaun Watson, didn't even give him a call. They were all in on Mitch Trubisky. And if they don't get right next season or in a few seasons, they might be having to do a full overhaul rebuild. I don't see the Bears doing much. They haven't been doing much in the past few seasons. They have a really lackluster offense. They have David Montgomery, Tariq Cohen. They've really underperformed last year. Who they have at wide receiver, Allen Robinson. They got rid of Trey Burton, who was always hurt. They have like 10 tight ends, which makes no sense. And they have an above-average defense. Let's be real. Khalil Mack is really their only great defensive player. Everybody else, I'm saying this is not stat-wise. They're really just an above-average team. So I don't see the Bears doing much. They actually did pretty good last year in their division. I think they were like 6-2 division-wise. So that means they lost every other game, which is sad. Let's move on to the Detroit Lions. Last year, 3-12-1. Their needs: defensive tackle, defensive end, corner, quarterback, and offensive guard. Their GM went straight in on their needs in the first round, third pick. Jeff Okudah, corner out of Ohio State, the most NFL-ready corner in the draft. He's going to make an immediate impact and completely replace Darius Slay that went to the Philadelphia Eagles. They got Deandre Swift in the second round, running back out of Georgia. That guy's a monster, and that's a great back to complement Kerryon Johnson. He's probably going to take all the snaps. But either way, now in this league, you need two backs, because not every team has a premier back like a Saquon, Ezekiel Elliott type running back. Next up, they had Julian Okwara, Notre Dame linebacker. They reunited the brothers, if you guys watched the draft. Romeo Okwara already plays in Detroit. Now Julian is there. I feel like that's a real cool, heartfelt moment. Drafting two brothers. That way they can play together. They had Jonah Jackson, guard out of Ohio State. Logan Stenberg, offensive guard out of Kentucky. Quentin Cephas, wide receiver out of Wisconsin. Jason Huntley, running back out of New Mexico State. John Pensini, defensive tackle out of Utah. And Jashawn Cornell, defensive end out of Ohio State. Like I said, they filled in a lot of good spots. Got a great corner, an explosive running back. They got the interior help with those two guards in the third and fourth round that they needed to fill in. My big question with Detroit is, are they moving on from Matt Stafford? There was a lot of rumors pre-draft that they were going to try to draft a quarterback. They didn't. I think Matt Stafford could still play. Um, if they want a running back because of his injury or a quarterback because of his injuries, Cam Newton is still out there. I don't understand why teams aren't trying to get at this boy. I don't know. Their offense is pretty decent. They got Marvin Jones, Galladay. They got Jesse James. He was the tight end for Pittsburgh. T.J. Hawkinson, their rookie tight end from last year. Kerryon Johnson. Now Deandre Swift. The wide receiver they picked up from Wisconsin. He's like a third-round talent with like a seventh-round 40. Big body, kind of slow, but I feel like he's gonna get pushed into the fire anyways. So let's see how Detroit does. I do see them improving from 3-12. Not that much, but they will improve a little bit. We should see. Next up, I got the Green Bay Packers. Last year they finished 13-3, which is amazing considering how that team's offense ran. This year they needed a wide receiver, tight end, offensive tackle, linebacker, defensive end. I will get into this more after I read off the draft things because I got a lot to say about the Green Bay Packers. In the first round, they traded up to get Jordan Love, quarterback out of Utah State. In the second round, they got A.J. Dillon, running back out of Boston College, real good running back. They got Josiah DeGuara, tight end out of Cincinnati. Kamal Martin, linebacker out of Minnesota. John Runyon, guard out of Michigan. Jake Hansen, center out of Oregon. Simon Stepaniak, offensive tackle out of Indiana. Vernon Scott, safety out of TCU. And Jonathan Garvin, defensive end out of Miami. Real good defensive end right there. Wow. How many years has it been? About 16 years. And you haven't drafted a wide receiver or any kind of weapon for Aaron Rodgers in the first round is ridiculous. So instead, you trade up to go get Jordan Love, which makes no sense. I understand. Jordan Love would have probably been there in the beginning of the second round. But it doesn't matter because Aaron Rodgers has a good, 4-5 years left. He's not slowing down anytime soon. He did amazing with the wide receivers that he had. Lazard, Valdez Scantling. They got Funches this season, which is not enough because they can't catch. The man makes these players look good, and I guess that's just what happens when you're a great quarterback. They think you don't need good weapons. So they went and got your replacement like they did Brett Favre back in the day in the first round, which is ridiculous. And then they go get A.J. Dillon, a running back in the second. After you had Aaron Jones that had career numbers this year as a running back. I don't know. They got a quarterback and a running back in the first two rounds instead of a wide receiver and maybe something else that they need, like a tight end. But Green Bay, I'm sure Aaron Rodgers is going to continue to be Aaron Rodgers and still win you guys games. So I'd appreciate what you guys have at the moment before you Brett Favre him and make him go to another team. I don't know, Green Bay. Very questionable draft. Last but not least, we have the Minnesota Vikings last season finishing 10-6. Their needs: corner, wide receiver, safety, offensive tackle, defensive tackle. They went and got Stephon Diggs' replacement in the first round with Justin Jefferson, wide receiver out of LSU. They got another good corner, Jeff Gladney, cornerback out of TCU. Ezra Cleveland, tackle out of Boise State. Cameron Dancer, cornerback out of Mississippi State. DJ Woonen, defensive end out of South Carolina. Actually, a really good defensive end, was just overshadowed by the fact that Javon Kinlaw was on the same team as him. Took all the shine. That's a really good defensive end right there. They got James Lynch, defensive tackle out of Baylor. Troy Dye, linebacker out of Oregon. Harrison Hand, corner out of Temple. KJ Osborne, wide receiver out of Miami. And Josh Metellus, safety out of Michigan. They had a lot of late round picks. 6th round, Blake Brondell, offensive tackle out of Oregon State. Kenny Wilkins, defensive end, Michigan State. Nate Stanley, quarterback out of Iowa. Brian Cole, safety out of Mississippi State. And Kyle Hinton, offensive guard out of Washburn. Like I said, they did find Diggs' replacement. Justin Jefferson, I feel, alongside Adam Thielen, is going to do great. That should be very interesting to watch. The GM did feel the holes early again here. Getting the wide receiver they needed, getting the corner they needed. Did they get a safety? I know Xavier Rhodes left. Either way, they got the offensive tackle they needed. Really good holes that they picked up. Dalvin Cook is going to keep cooking. That man carried me in fantasy last year. It was insane. If Dalvin Cook is cooking, they're not going to have no issues. And the Purple People Eaters, they got Daniil Hunter. They got Mike Pierce from Baltimore, defensive tackle. Anthony Barr, Kendricks, Anthony Harris, Harrison Smith. That defense has always been a strong point for Minnesota over the past couple seasons. I look for Minnesota to have a decent year this year. Probably make the playoffs, hopefully. And they're probably going to screw over the Saints again with some call. But, whatever. Last but not least, before we end this video, my predictions for the 2020-21 season. Colin Cowherd had Green Bay finishing 9-7, the Bears finishing 8-8, Lions finishing 5-11, and the Vikings finishing 10-6. All pretty good predictions. Kind of what I had. I got Green Bay finishing 10-6. Got the Vikings finishing 10-6. So depending on how that season plays out on tiebreakers, one of them will be the first seed in their division, win their division. I got the Bears finishing 7-9, and I got the Lions improving from last year, 5-11. Like I said, this should be an interesting season. A lot of changes in this NFL season, and I'm just excited, and hopefully I'm ready for the season to start. I want to thank you guys for watching again. NFC North. We shall continue the series. I'm going to make more videos, more content for you guys. Please give me some feedback on what you guys think, how I can improve, what I can talk about to make you guys interested and watch these videos. Let's talk sports. If you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like on Facebook and follow on Facebook, follow on Instagram and Twitter. I appreciate you guys and have a wonderful day.